Welcome, everybody, to the Stoned On Sports podcast. My name is Matt. Really happy to be here with you today, getting ready to talk about some Week 7 NFL. We're going to be halfway through the fantasy season after this week, so it's going to be a big week to find out really what kind of team you've got and make sure you understand what you need to do going forward. Before we get into all of that, I want to say a big thank you to all of our subscribers, the people who pop into the chat, everybody who watches afterwards, and just everyone who supported us on this little endeavor. As always, I'm joined by the Legion of Doom, Kyle and Ramey. Ramey, there's, to me, one big game on the schedule this week, and it's Eagles and Dolphins. That to me is interesting because in the Dolphins, you've got a quarterback who's on pace to throw for 5,000 yards. You've got two running backs who are on pace for 1,000 yards and two wide receivers who are on pace for 1,000 yards, which are just absolutely insane. Philly has been damn good against the run this year, and Devon Achane is out. You've got Jeff Wilson, who will probably start, and Raheem Mostert is there, obviously. But that is such a huge part of their offense. I'm excited to see how it's going to play out.
Yeah, it should be a really good game on Sunday night. It's nice when you actually have a good game on those Sunday night, Monday night games, as we've been kind of not really had that this year so far. A little bit, but not really. But that Miami-Philly game should be really good. You say there's two receivers on pace for 1,000 yards. One of those receivers is on pace for 2,000 yards. Yeah. So I'm curious if Miami can keep up these video game numbers, especially as the weather starts to turn. I don't think they go anywhere really too terrible weather-wise, but Philly's defense is legit. It'll be fun to watch and see if they can slow Miami down. I think it's going to be a bit of a shootout. I think the over-under's up above 50, and it might be the highest over-under of the weekend. So Philly's offense has been kind of inconsistent so far this year, especially playing against the Jets last week. They weren't really impressive. Hurts had 3 picks, and they only put up, I think, 17 points. So it'll be a fun game to watch, and I hope it's really high scoring and really kind of back and forth. And I hope all the stars shine, because the Sunday night games have been kind of boring. I know last week's it was an exciting game, the Giants-Bills, but it was, I guess.
The games have been boring. It was an exciting game.
I guess. I mean, it was it wasn't a really, it was a competitive game is what I should have said. Sure. So, but it should be a fun one on Sunday night. So, Kyle, what are you looking forward to this weekend?
Yeah, Dolphins, Eagles. I agree. I think Sunday night features to be the game of the week, like Matt referenced. But yeah, they have been inconsistent on offense. They got injuries piling up in the secondary. That's a bad combination with a high-flying offense like Miami coming to town. They lead the NFL in yards per play and yards per pass attempt by significant margins. And Philly's secondary is allowing 302 passing yards per game at home this season, second most of the NFL. So something's going to break. Something's going to, I kind of like Miami in this game, but games are won in the trenches, and the Eagles arguably have the best offensive and defensive line in football. I think that'll be the difference maker. I think the Eagles do win. What is it? -2.5. That's about right. Yeah. I got the Eagles winning this game. I think it'll be exciting. I think there'll be some offense, of course, but again, we'll reiterate. I think the lines for the Philly are going to be the difference maker in this game.
Yeah. One thing too, I saw that Jalen Ramsey is back at practice this week for the Dolphins, so that should be a not that he's going to play this weekend, but it should be a big boost for that defense that's been struggling a little bit, especially against the more talented quarterbacks. They gave up 48 a couple weeks ago against the Bills. So going down the stretch, we talked about it before the season. We thought he wouldn't be back until December or so, and it sounds like he's going to be back maybe a month or so early. Should be a boon for that Miami defense.
I agree, and that's really been the weakest part of their team has been the defense. I do think, though, just the way that offense is and the way they get their playmakers the ball in space and get them the ball when they're already on the move, there is no defense speed-wise that can keep up with them. Darius Slay has been out for a few weeks, and he was a limited participant at practice. No real firm idea on whether or not he's going to play, but just given the length of time he was out, that when he gets back, he isn't going to be 100%, and you don't want to go up against Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill at anything less than.
Right.
The Eagles give up the vast majority of their fantasy points to wide receivers. It's something to the tune of like 65%, which is the most in the NFL. I think right now, and we saw this in the Buffalo game, and this sounds cliche, and I hate myself for saying it, but nobody's beat the Dolphins but themselves, because the reason they lost that Buffalo game was because they turned the damn ball over so much.
Yeah.
And they do have some issues with that, but when they don't, they beat everybody.
Yeah. It might not matter because with the run defense for the Dolphins ranked 20th, and the Eagles are the second in the league in rush offense, they might be keeping them on the sidelines, which is what you're probably going to need to do in this game. You need to get they need a lot less snaps on offense for Philly to have a great chance to win this game.
Yeah, and that's where it's been encouraging for the Dolphins to see that running game develop, kind of not really as the season's gone on, but after the first couple of games, not to really cut back on the passing offense, but they've shown that. I'm not really sure why there were rumors of them trying to trade for Jonathan Taylor, because their running game is potent. I think they're averaging darn near 8 to 9 yards a carry, no matter who's in that backfield. So that's what's going to win against teams like Philly. That's what's going to win in the playoffs, the ability to have long, sustained drives. And while the defense of Miami is certainly the weakness on that team, I think they're a little bit of a victim of that potent offense scoring so much. It's hard to be out there for so many snaps, to your point, Kyle, when your team's putting up 42, 48 points a game.
70.
It's yeah, it's a little bit of kind of expected there that your defense isn't going to be elite by the amount of points and yards and how quickly that offense scores.
Yeah, I mean, shit, the Dolphins have already rushed for almost 1,100 yards this year. It's tops in the NFL. 6.5 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Achan's averaging like fucking 10 or just something ridiculous like that.
It was 12.
12.1. 12.1.
I mean, that's just an unheard of
rate
of efficiency, especially at the volume that he's getting. He's not getting 12 yards a carry on 3 carries. He's getting 10, 11, 12 carries.
Well, he's not getting any carries right now because he's hurt.
Well, I mean,
thanks, Captain Obvious.
Well, you didn't
appreciate you pointing that out.
Didn't mention that.
Mostert's carried almost double the amount that Achan has, and Mostert's still averaging almost 6 yards a carry. So, I mean, even with more of a sample size, that 5.7 yards a carry, I'd take that any day of the week, even on Sunday.
Even on Sunday,
twice on Sunday.
Twice, yeah.
Let's since you're going to the game this week, let's talk Browns Colts. Browns are 3-2. Browns are 3-2. Colts are 3-3. The lines, let's see, Cleveland -3. The over-under is 40. Cleveland's defense, I think, is the big story. They just held the 49ers to 215 yards. That's the fewest amount of yards in any game Kyle Shanahan has head coached. And it's not simply due to weather either. And it's not simply due to, the playmakers for San Francisco going out. It's just that defense is really, really good.
It is. Your boy, Jim Schwartz, coming in and heading up that defense. It's really been a huge difference on that side of the ball for Cleveland. And with Gardner Minshew behind the line and the Colts offense not being what we thought it was going to be. I see Cleveland doing exactly what Jacksonville did, crowding the box. The difference being that Cleveland has the corners to be able to cover Pittman and Downs to shut them down as well. Not that Minshew was Pittman had a decent game, but Minshew, even though he threw for 55 not completions, 55 passes. He wasn't really effective in the passing game, and Cleveland's going to be able to crowd the box but stop the pass with one-on-one coverage. So I think it's going to go under that 40.5. I could see a little bit of a letdown on Cleveland by having that big win against the Niners and then having a game that they should win against the Colts. But I think it's going to be maybe like a 24-17 kind of game, which is 41, which is over what I just said. So let's go 24-10. I'm an idiot. I can't do math. Math is hard. Math is, not my strong suit, but it's a long way of saying I don't think the Colts are really going to put up much of a fight in this game.
Yeah, Colts ain't going to do shit against that defense.
Yeah, it's going to be a long afternoon for you.
Yeah. And with Grover, I mentioned it on Tuesday, with Grover Stewart being out, Cleveland's just going to pound the rock. They're just going to run it with Jerome Ford. So if you have Jerome Ford, I would certainly start him against that Indy defense, which is hurting.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll be a huge game for Jerome Ford. Even just that they might get up, run the ball to run the game out and win. I think it'll be low scoring, like you mentioned. But Cleveland, like 1 against the pass, 4th against the run. They're 5th in points allowed. They're only averaging 15 a game. It's going to be a long day for Minshew. And again, sorry for the official news of AR having season-ending surgery on his shoulder. It's a bummer, but got to make you excited for next year that he'll be all mended up and maybe he's learned some things.
Yeah, and he'll be able. The nice thing is, for those that argued he should sit this year and watch, he's going to be able to do that. So, looks like we have a question.
Got a question? Sure do. I'll throw it up.
What's up, Patty? Remember you from last week?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming
PPR,
back.
having some trouble flipping Rashad White for a wide receiver for my bench. Any advice on receivers I should be targeting? I also have Connor. Should I get rid of him instead? Wow. I think Connor will have better. You'll have a better return from Connor over Rashad White. Not much.
Problem is, with him being hurt, you're probably not going to get as much value as you would if he were healthy, obviously.
Yeah. But the Rashad White thing, he's barely over 3 a carry. He's just not having a good year. We didn't predict for him to have a good year. Trying to think of somebody.
If you're looking for a
lower end wide receiver, you could try and get.
If you're looking for a receiver for your bench, I know we talked about Josh Downs. He's still available in a lot of leagues. You might want to try to see if you can pick him up
for this week though.
No. But if he's going to stash him on his bench, wide receiver for his bench, I'd certainly look to see if Downs is available and throw him on there.
Yeah, I think another good target would be somebody like Romeo Doubs. Romeo Dobbs. And the bonus with him, he's already at his bye. So that's one less piece you have to worry about replacing. He's somebody you can even plug into your flex. Rashad White is not having that good of a year. That line is not run blocking well. He's averaging like 3.3 yards per carry. This week is actually an awful week for him. He's a running back that doesn't really break many carries. And he's going up, break many tackles, and he's going up against a Falcons team that's pretty damn good.
One other that you might want to look at, I don't know if you could get him through a trade now, but if he's available as a free agent, is McCole Hardman. Just got traded to the Chiefs. Might be worth a pickup and stashing him on the bench and seeing if that relationship from last year pans out moving forward with him and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. That's not a horrible one either. And he was really big in special teams. And Patty, if your league has return yards for a setting or for scoring in it, that would be a good pickup. Hardman. I like that one, Ramey.
Thanks.
Heck yeah.
Colts suck. back to my.
Browns are going to stop the Colts.
They don't suck, but
Crazier things have happened, but I just don't see it.
I don't either. It'll be fun to go to the game.
It will
Hey,
be.
PJ Walker revenge game. He was a Colt for a spell, was he not?
He was. He might have started a couple games.
But I don't think the the Browns are going to have to throw much to beat the Colts. But I think I'm fine starting Amari Cooper. Because last week he had a decent week. Walker looks his way. I think he could still probably end up with like 5 or 6 targets this week, and he gets some high value and down the field targets. He's worked more downfield this year, so I don't know, man. I'm not benching him. That's for sure.
Well, I heard today Deshaun Watson actually practiced today for the first time since September 22nd.
He didn't throw deep though, or anything like that. He got out there. I don't think he's going to be back for a while. And it's not like the team would trust him enough to go get outside treatment. So.
That's true. And I think Cleveland's on the bye after this week too, aren't they? I believe. So it might be wise just to let him sit and get that bye and then try to bring him back in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm starting Jerome Ford with confidence in a league. Yeah. So
I would as well. Let's switch to tonight's game, Thursday night football, Jags at Saints. This is pretty much the first road game that Jacksonville's played since the Colts in week 1.
Yeah.
So
if you don't count going to London.
Yep. Jacksonville's on a 3-game win streak, and they've never won on the Big E. I can't talk today. What's so funny?
Oh no!
I hate when I'm in my thing and I see you laugh and I just have to stop, and it's fucking annoying.
You don't have to stop. Keep your concentration.
I want to know what the hell. I want to know what I said wrong.
I think it was what I said, honestly.
You said, "Oh, this is their first true road game," and like, yeah, if you don't count London, it's like, yeah, we're not going to count going to another fucking continent as a road game.
Nope. It's their 2 top 10 defenses, according to DVOA. That will be, what is the other? It's 40 in this. Yeah, definitely.
I think it's
under.
And it's actually on DraftKings. It moved up to 41. So
41 now. Well,
yeah,
still hammer the under.
Yeah.
And if Carr can have a pretty good game, the Jaguars have been awful against the pass. They're 31st in the NFL. Man, if Carr could just figure it out and have a good game, and Olave and Thomas and Kamara, and they all eat, I could see him winning. But Jacksonville's never won in the Big Easy since the beginning of their franchise.
Yeah. And a stat I heard on SportsCenter before hopping on here that means nothing about nothing. Trevor Lawrence is 34-2 in college at Clemson, and those 2 losses were in the Superdome. Or as Hulk Hogan would say, the Silver Dome.
Like a college football playoff losses in the Superdome.
Yeah.
Is that what they were?
Yep. To LSU and who the other? I don't know who the other one was. Doesn't really
Ohio,
matter.
I think.
Oh,
yeah. Could be a big game for Kamara. He's been targeted over 8 times a game so far. They could be down. Carr's going to have to get rid of the ball quickly. I mean, that offensive line has just been a revolving door there for the Saints. I think Cesar Ruiz he's a guard and usually is playing right tackle tonight. I think I read.
Yep. Both their starting tackles are out.
Yeah. So it's going to be rough, man. He's going to have to get rid of the ball. They're probably not going to be able to run the ball. I think this is a big Kamara game. Start him. Don't worry about that top 10 defense.
Big under game on a short week too.
Yeah. This is definitely not an ETN game. The Saints are allowing the 3rd fewest points to running backs on a per game basis. It's like 8 points a week. I thought I heard earlier today, and I've not had a chance to verify this, that the Jags were also missing both of their guards for tonight's game. Both of their guards are hurt. I could be full of shit, so don't quote me on that. But I'm not looking for much out of ETN. I think he'll have a respectable game, but really with him, I think this week you're hoping for him to find the end zone to really get any kind of point accumulation. I don't like Calvin Ridley going up against Marshawn Lattimore.
Nope.
Ridley's, I mean, he's been getting a decent target share. He's been, 5, 6, 7, 8 targets every week. He's just not hauling in those attempts.
Yeah. Got a comment here.
Oh.
Alex, PPR triple flex. Wow. 12-man league. Baker, Adams, Olave, Bajan, Cook, Komet, flexes, moves to make. You guys can read it. Burrow, Higgins. It's got 2 Mingos.
1 and 5. And I know Olave's been killing you, and Adams has been killing you the past couple weeks too.
Yeah, he has.
James Cook's not done great.
Who's Terry? Oh,
Terry
McLaurin.
Yeah.
And Garrett Wilson, I'm guessing.
Sorry, I lost my track of thought while typing.
No.
All good, brother.
Yeah, no good, man. Everybody makes mistakes. Mingo's still raw. Man, he's going to be better next year, I think. Jay Miller.
Actually traded Etienne for Adams and Terry. Michael Wilson. Okay.
I got you.
Adams and Terry. I mean,
have you been going with Baker most weeks? Since Burrow hasn't looked great, except for the one game. Gotta believe that's getting better.
Higgins has been killing you too.
Yeah. Damn. I mean, that's just.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He is on a bye. He is on a bye this week. A lot of good quarterbacks on a bye this week. Jahan Dotson hasn't turned out. Samuel's been the guy on that team.
I don't know if you could flip Addison for somebody like a Palmer, Josh Palmer.
Yeah, I mean, I might almost. This wouldn't by chance be a work league or something like that where you're playing with kind of some dumb folks. If it is, I would try and bank on T. Higgins' name value and see if you can move him. Damn, it's rough. You might want to see. You got Dick for running backs.
No, he hasn't got nothing except for Bajan.
Yeah, I'd almost see if I could package James Cook and maybe Addison and try and get an upgrade there on your RB2. It being James? A PPR does help.
Would you do something like James Cook and Addison for Kamara?
I don't want to have Kamara and Olave though.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
But I think
send Olave in that trade then.
Yeah. Yeah, because considering that JJ is out and how they have both played, if you did that, my flexes would be a wasteland. That's true. Damn.
I've never played in a triple flex before, so it's interesting.
It is. Those are big ass rosters too.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a good one. I don't know, starting that many players, like everybody is going to be weak somewhere. And so you want to try and find an elite talent at one of the positions to help give you that separation. Oh, yeah. Addison's a must start every week. He's definitely not going down there on your bench. I mean, you got to hope for a turnaround from Higgins. Yeah, it's really hard to say. That's a difficult question. Come on here, stump us first thing. What's wrong with you?
Right. Great question, Alex. You're stumping us. I mean, overall, it's not a bad team.
It's not. That's a bad luck team right there.
It is.
I mean, maybe
Keontae Ingram, you just grabbed this week, I'm guessing, or last week, maybe. Ugh.
who's Tampa have? Tampa's on a Atlanta at
They got the
Tampa.
Falcons. Yeah.
Maybe you bank on Baker having a big week against the Falcons, and you try to package him and
Falcons have been
somebody.
pretty damn good on defense.
Yeah,
this year.
that's true.
Especially in the pass.
Just last week, he picked up Ingram.
Yeah. It's tough. That's a rough. I mean, who knows what's going to go on in Arizona? The offense ain't great, even though Josh Dobbs kind of makes it fun looking at times. I'm glad he's getting some playing time, though.
Yeah. I think Aiden O'Connell is starting this week for the Raiders too.
He is.
Last time he did, though Adams didn't have a great game, he had like 8 for 76 or 7 for 67. He still got 13 targets. So he's going to get the volume there. You just got to hope they're better targets this week. ETN
Johnny.
tonight.
Oh.
Thanks for the question, Alex.
Yes, thanks. I was typing that.
I think ETN is a high-end RB2 this week. I think he's somewhere in the RB 13 to 15 range.
I got him probably a few spots lower just because of how consistent they've been on defense. The Saints, they've given up 100 yards or fewer in 3 of 6 games this year, and they haven't given up more than 120 to all running backs, not just one. But yeah, I would fade him a little bit this week, but I probably don't have a lot of options because of buys.
Right. You're not benching him.
No.
You just need to lower your expectations for
maybe
for what you're getting out of him.
Hope he falls in the end zone too. Can't hurt. Great question, Johnny. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We appreciate it. What's Alex got a couple more questions here. May try to flip Higgins for Ridley or something like that next week. Obviously,
swapping problems.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's true.
So
Ridley's falling out there. It's Christian Kirk's the number 1 receiver there in Jackson.
That's what I was gonna say. I would, if you're gonna try to get Ridley, I'd start with asking for Kirk. See if somebody's silly enough to, like Matt said, go off the name of Higgins and hope that somebody's hoping he has a bounce back the last 2/3 of the season, and maybe you could steal Christian Kirk from a team or something like that. And if they say no, you could always move back and ask. I guess it's not necessarily the same guy, the guy that has the same both players, but I'd try to shoot a little bit higher first and then see what happens.
Yeah, and I think Higgins is still feeling them ribs too.
Yeah, he is. And Alex, I've traded on a bye week, during a bye week for a player and didn't get to. In fact, I think I did it with Matt last year. I didn't get to use the player for till the following week, but it just happened to work out well for me where I wasn't screwed with losing any roster spots and stuff or any starters at that time. But you'd be surprised, man. There's people out there. You must identify your great trade partner in your league. Maybe a guy who's not as well versed in fantasy football, or
and every league has someone who trades just to trade.
Yep, that's the guy.
Just
you need
because
to
they
identify.
think the trading is fun.
Yep, that's the guy you need to identify right there. Great questions, guys. Appreciate it. What else we got here? All right, we're good with Saints and Jags.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's talk about them Lions, right? 5-1, right? I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
Alex has another comment.
Oh Lord, the Ridley owner values him as like a high-end wide receiver too. He does own Ridley and Kirk. Ooh, yeah. Try and get Kirk.
Yeah, I'd try to get Kirk.
Why the fuck does he own both?
Right.
I mean,
Ridley is not a high wide receiver too either. He's
no.
new.
Well, he values him as that. The owner values him as that, and that's a shame. Maybe he's trying to back that up with some stats to prove that he's not a high end wide receiver too right now.
I'd rather have Kirk.
If
he's valuing Ridley higher than Kirk, all right, give me Kirk. Yes, T-Law, Ridley, Kirk, and Ingram. Wow.
Jeez.
Wow. Like lives in Jacksonville. Like Jesus.
Talk about drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, that's just
kidding.
That's a full homer team right there. Holy shit. You must like the Jags.
Yeah.
That's insane.
But Lions 5-1 traveled to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. They're 4-2. Teams can no longer take advantage of the free square that the Lions have been forever. This is another chance for the Lions to make another statement in the NFL. It's also a little bit of a revenge game. If you remember a couple seasons ago in 2021, I think it was week 3, Justin Tucker hit a 66-yard field goal that bounced off the crossbar and won in, and they won as time expired. But this is a different Lions team. They've been starting games very well and playing with a lead this season. Detroit is the only team in the NFL averaging more than a touchdown in the first quarter this season. And it should also be noted that the Lions are the 3rd best in NFL in points allowed in the first quarter too. So they are taking care of business. They need to do that again this week. The defense is pretty damn good now. They've got 38 points on takeaways, tied for 4th in the NFL. Monty's going to be out. He's hurt. Gibbs is trending to come back. It looks like that's definitely going to happen. Man, we need that cat to show up this week against a young defense in Baltimore.
Yeah, I agree. Last time Monty was out and Gibbs was leading the backfield. I mean, he had 17 carries
for 80 or something.
Yeah, I mean that's perfectly fine. I'm happy with that, especially if you mix in a couple of grabs. This is an interesting matchup in that it's the PFF's top 2 rated quarterbacks going against each other. And if you would have told me that the top rated quarterback was going to be Jared Goff, there ain't no way in hell I'd have believed you. Not that I think he was a scrub or anything like that, but just he has really elevated his play this year. And along with his elevation of play, he has brought the team along with him. If I have Gibbs, I'm starting him. I'm starting Sun God. Laporta is kind of iffy, but it's not like you're going to bench him because you've got anyone better. On the Baltimore side, it seems like at least among the wide receivers, Lamar is really only throwing to Zay Flowers anymore. So if you've got him, start him with confidence. I mean, obviously, if you drafted Mandrews, if you were smart, you didn't draft another tight end because you didn't need to. So you're going to start him. That backfield's a goddamn mess. I wish they'd just make up their mind over his career. Gus Edwards is averaging like 5 yards a carry. Let the man eat. All aboard the Gus bus. But they're, mixing in Justice Hill and doing all kinds of silly bullshit. And it's not really going to matter because the Lions have the best run defense in the NFL. They've not faced a running threat like Lamar Jackson, but it's not like there's 6 or 7 of him in the league anyway. There's one of him.
Hold on. Hold that thought, Alex. Has got a follow-up question. Maybe James Cook and McLaurin for Kamara and see what.
I'd do that just to get Kamara. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not big on Christian Watson, but it's not like Terry's been all that great either. Out of that deal, I want Kamara. You're getting the best player in that deal.
Yeah, I like that too. Thanks, Alex, for another great question, man. Anytime. Lions.
Ramey, would you like to talk about that?
He can.
Thank you, Kyle. I didn't want to steal your guys' thunder. It's your team. But Goff has been so good this year. I know we talked about the fact that he has so many games, especially late in the season, in a dome and how well he does in a dome. But the splits really aren't that significant anymore. He seems to do pretty well no matter where he's playing. And I think they're 3-point underdogs, but I think it's going to be a really fun game to watch and a fun game to see how the Lions respond on the road against a quality team. I think the Lions go in there and win. They just seem like they're playing really well. The offense is clicking. The defense has come around. I feel like I'm saying a lot of the stuff you guys have already said, so I'll kind of wrap it up. But I don't know if I've been hanging around you guys too much, but I'm kind of jumping on the Lions bandwagon. They look good.
I'll email you the bandwagon form for you to fill out.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah. You do need Gibbs to come back and have a solid game on the ground to make up for the loss of Monty. But I think any loss you have in the run game, Goff's going to be able to make up through the air. He's shown that over the course of the year this year. And I was just thinking earlier today when that trade between the Lions and the Rams happened, you thought Goff was just going to be Goff was just going to be a bridge quarterback until they could draft somebody but he looks like the long-term answer for in Detroit. So that's got to be a great feeling, and knowing that you're set up for sustained success moving forward.
The Ravens are also in their game in London. They ran 70 plays on offense. It's tied for second most this season. You think fatigue could be a factor? You always hear that London hangover. I'm hoping we just whoop them.
I hope so too.
I'm surprised the Ravens coming off that London trip. I'm surprised they're a 3-point favorite.
I mean, that's essentially home field advantage, right?
Yeah.
There.
Yep. But the Ravens have, they've always been that team that's kind of struggled to hold leads over the past few seasons. And with the Lions, the way they score in the first quarter and what they allow in the they're going to get off to a fast start. And I think ARSB is going to have another 10-catch game.
He's a monster.
He is a monster. He's a first down machine. I like it. And Jameson Williams is back, and they're going to start integrating him. His snap should start creeping up each week. I'm hoping that all these guys can, complement one another and get a big win on the road.
Mm-hmm.
We did Colts. We did. How about Chargers Chiefs?
Read my mind.
A lot of big names on it, and the overs at 48. It looks like Kansas City by 5.5. Ramey mentioned earlier, McCole Hardman rejoins the team from a trade from the Jets. They swapped some late rounders in 2025. It looks like, so nothing major. It's going to be some scoring. These teams have combined for 51 or more points in 5 consecutive meetings. It's going to be another one. It could be maybe just as exciting as Dolphins Eagles in a way. And Mahomes has been good. He's been a good fantasy player this year so far. He's just kind of short of being, great this season. He's been a QB1 scorer in 4 of 6 games. And he has just one top 5 scoring week on the season. So it's been rough for him. But the Chargers are coming to town, and they've allowed the highest scoring quarterback twice through 5 weeks so far, or
Hold
through 5 games. Yep.
So we got George play in here. I'm 6-0. Congratulations.
Nice.
Tua, CMC, KW3, Cup, Olave, Goddard, flexes James Cook, bench Dell, Deontay, Roshan. Damn, should I trade James Cook for Achane? Yes.
Yeah.
If you can get Achane, get him.
Yep. Ooh, he's got Jameson too. Deontay's hurt. JSN, Fields is hurt. It's a nice team, brother. No wonder you're 6-0. Olave hasn't done much. Goddard hasn't done much except for last week. It's a nice team. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, if you can get him, so you don't get him for a few weeks. Big deal.
You're trading your flex. I'm happy to plug in Tank Dell for the next couple of weeks while you wait for him to come back. I mean, he's on bye this week, obviously, but there's a small drop off there, but not a whole lot. And Dell has proven this year that he can be that big play receiver.
I still think Nico's the guy there, but he's a nice
for sure.
He's a nice compliment to him and for Stroud. But yeah, send that trade. See what happens. People are, since Achane is injured, somebody might jump on that right away and hit the button.
Absolutely, especially now that we're in these heavy
But
bye weeks.
Yeah, you're 6-0, so you're trying to navigate the next few weeks, and then you'd get him back. It's a good shot. Even if you go 2-1 or 1-2, you're still in great shape, and you'll have Achane.
Yeah. Appreciate you popping in to chat with us. If you have any other questions, let us know. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe and give us a like.
Yeah, we're here every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and starting this week, 11:30 a.m. Eastern on Sundays for that last minute lineup questions you guys got. What else we got? What else you guys got for Chargers and Chiefs?
I think one of the things that hasn't really been talked about a whole lot this year is just how solid that Kansas City defense is. They spent a lot. They spent a lot of resources in the draft the last couple of years. So it's a young defense. It's anchored by Chris Jones. So I mean that's a huge piece right there in the middle, and paying him for at least a year. But I mean they've got weapons all over the place on defense, and that's really kind of been the underrated story of the year. They've been able to kind of compensate for the lack of offensive weapons on the outside, at least in the receiver game that Kansas City has been struggling with. So it's keeping Kansas City in games. So Mahomes and Travis Kelce and whoever else maybe now Harmon coming in, and Rashee Rice was doing really well. Sky Moore had a couple moments, but that defense is really keeping them in games as well. And I think that's going to be really important moving forward with the amount that they've paid Mahomes, is that they continue to draft well and supplement that team with cheap talent.
Yeah, and on the Chargers side, let's be real here. This is a team that was built to try and beat the Chiefs. And it seems like they always play them close in Kansas City. Something like the last 5 games, I think, have gone over 51 points. Is that what you were saying, Kyle?
That's correct. 5 consecutive.
So,
last 5.
It's always a good matchup, even though Brandon Staley is going to do everything he can to blow it.
Yep.
And you would almost expect, just given his background and pedigree, that if we were going to talk about a good young defense, you would expect it to be the Chargers. But that's just not the case. Do I expect the Chargers to go in there and win? No. But I do think you should be able to get a decent game out of Justin Herbert. I think he's probably, the QB 8 or 9 this week. I don't think he's a top 5 option this week. Keenan Allen will continue to be a top 5 option at wide receiver. Eckler's back. He's going to get his and
Palmer.
Josh Palmer. Start him if you have to, but don't get your expectations too high. On the Kansas City side, grab a magic 8 ball and ask it who to start if you've got some of their wide receivers. I think this is a great matchup for Pacheco. I'm starting him with a shit ton of confidence. Travis Kelce is Travis Kelce. I think the big question with him that people are going to face is, is he somebody you want to use in DFS at that price tag? He's like 8,700 or something like that on DraftKings, just something insane. And Mahomes is Mahomes.
Yeah, Mahomes is, I expect him to finish right up there at the top this week. He's averaged 24.3 fantasy points in the last 4 games since Brandon Staley's been the coach for the Chargers. He's thrown multiple passing touchdowns in all 4 games and 3 touchdowns in 3 of those games each. Doesn't matter where it was at Chargers or Chiefs. He's good. I got Mahomes 1 week or in 1 league this week, and I'm hoping for a big game from him.
It should be with that Chargers defense. I know we talked about it on
God.
Tuesday. They have a lot of names, like big time names on that defense. Khalil Mack, Bosa,
And
Derwin
Bosa's jumped
James.
this year.
Derwin James. Yeah. But as a unit, they're just not very good. And I think it's going to eventually lead to a new coach in San Diego.
Hopefully.
LA.
Yep.
Uh,
I said San Diego, I think, last week on
Yeah.
our podcast too. So,
yeah.
it
We have a
happens.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
people. But I think Mahomes is going to shine. I think Kelsey's going to shine. I don't know if he's worth that 8,700 number in DFS, but you'd really have to bank on him having a couple tuds if you pay that. But who knows? Who knows what I might do this
Right.
week in DFS?
We
See if it works out.
That's true. That's true.
we got some standings to go over.
Yeah.
I believe
We did that
at some
Tuesday.
point here. Did we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we already did it Tuesday. Done.
No, we didn't.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, we did.
No.
we didn't.
Oh, the actual DFL. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's go. let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah, DFS results. Ramey again. Started 0-2, won 4 in a row. It's been kicking our butts. He's having a great year so far. Me and Matt are just sucking. So congrats on that for taking our money each week. And then we have
Appreciate the donation.
no, exactly, dude. Great job at it. Again, for somebody who hasn't played DFS regularly or ever
Stop
before
saying
this
that.
season. Okay, stop saying that. Well, whatever. Who cares?
I love DFS.
And then since we're getting to our aces and deuces and locks pick here in a moment, we'll just do our results from last week. I was 3-2, Matt 1-4, Ramey 2-3. Again, I am the overall champion so far. Please listen to all the locks and aces and deuces picks I have because I'm 21-9. So I'll take that, dude. To get 21 out of 30, I'll take it all day long.
Yeah, it's a nice little batting average right there.
Yeah, no kidding.
500. That'll keep you in the majors.
Yeah,
Right. Heck yeah. So aces, deuces time. That's our version of starts and sits. Did you notice the football's different, Matt?
I did.
Thank you. Well, you got the college football. Well, I didn't realize it was the college football. No, it's not.
that looks like almost like a rugby ball.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Is that an Australian rules football?
It's football. Darn it.
Is that a football you found in your grandfather's barn?
Yes. Yes, it is. So my first ace here is Packers tight end Luke Musgrave. Broncos are just horrible in the league in points allowed to tight ends. They're tied with the Jets actually for last in the league. They average tight ends average against them 6 receptions, 75 yards, half a touch, and averaging 10 fantasy points. Which I get a tight end with 10. I'm tickled pink. I'm happy as shit. Kelsey's game against them. Tickle. Kelsey's game against the Broncos there skews this a little bit. He was 9 for 124, but Conklin was 4 for 67. Cole Kmet had that big game a few weeks ago, 7 for 85 and 2 touchdowns. And Logan Thomas the other couple weeks ago was 2 for 22 and a touch. So I like Luke Musgrave there this week. My second ace is Commanders running back Brian Robinson Jr. The Giants are 28th ranked defense versus opposing running backs. They allow 132 yards, 5.14 a carry, almost 1.2 touchdowns, and a couple receptions for 15 yards, and 20.67 points to running backs. That's horrible. Robinson's still the lead back there for the Commanders. I think it'll be a mid-range RB2 finish this week. Start him. Who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Sweet. Are you doing your own stuff?
Yes, I'll produce
Sweet.
myself. So my first ace is Seattle Seahawks running back Kenneth Walker. Dude's getting the volume. He gets the goal line work. He gets the red zone work. Cardinals are one of the worst run defenses in the league. And last week, Kyron Williams abused the shit out of them. I expect Ken Walker to do the same. My second ace, Jalen Waddle. Tyreek Hill rightfully gets all the attention with everything that he's doing. The Eagles give up over 26 points per game to wide receivers. His targets are trending up. He's got touchdowns in 2 straight games, and it's the highest total on the board this week.
Good picks. I'll lead into mine, which similar reasoning. One of my aces is Eagles running back DeAndre Swift going up against that Dolphins defense. They haven't really stopped anybody outside of Denver, and I think there's going to be a lot of scoring in this game. Matt, to your point, it's the highest scoring game on the board this week. DeAndre Swift has done really well this year behind that Eagles line. Done really well in fantasy. So I think he's going to be an ace this week. My other ace, 49ers wide receiver Brandon Ayuk. The Vikings defense hasn't really put up much of a fight against anybody. Better than the Dolphins defense, but still not great. And with potentially CMC and Debo out, it's still up in the air for Monday night. I look for Brock Purdy to really hone in on Ayuk and for him to have a big game. Even before CMC and Debo were out, Ayuk was a favorite of Purdy, and I think that's going to be even more magnified with the potential of them being out or at least limited if they're still kind of hurt.
Brandon Ayuk's top receiver in this league, for sure. Yeah. Among all wide receivers with at least 100+ routes run, Ayuk's been targeted on 30.8 of his routes run, which only trails Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs. He's good.
Yeah.
He's very good. And his 3.78 yards per route run is only behind Tyreek Hill's just whopping 5.06. I thought it was made up, and I did double check. I double checked a couple places, and I'm like, wow, it's very good. Good picks, man. Good picks.
Yeah.
What do we got? Deuces, right? Let's do it up. Let me find my spot though, because I had to move all around. Oh yeah, Russell Wilson. If I could have him on my deuces every week, I suppose I would. I mean, he's actually been pretty decent this year. Actually, he's been started in over a fifth of fantasy leagues. Maybe you're desperate because Fields is doubtful. I guess T-Law is going to play, but you got Burrow, Stroud, Dak on a bye. He's just. I'd rather start somebody else. Sift through the waiver wire before I start him this week. It's bad. What else I got here? Sam Laporta.
Ooh.
My second deuce. Kind of fell back to earth last week. Probably had something to do with the Buccaneers or a top 8 unit in fantasy points allowed to tight ends. Now he gets the Ravens, who are the best in the league against tight ends. They're first in the league and allowing just two fantasy points on average per game. I would definitely pivot away from Laporta this week. I hate to say that, just him being a Lion, but I just don't like it this week. I'm fading him. Matt?
All right.
Good picks.
My morning deuce is Buccaneers running back Rachaad White. Touched on it before. He's got a poor blocking line going up against one of the better run defenses. He's averaging 3.3 yards a carry. He doesn't historically break tackles very well, and he's going up against a Falcons team that tackles very well. So he's not going to be great. My after work deuce is Bears wide receiver DJ Moore. He's either playing with Justin Fields, who can't grip the ball, or Tyson fucking Badgett, who last December was throwing 2 picks and getting sacked 8 times against the Colorado School of Mines. He ain't doing shit in the NFL. You probably don't have anyone better on your bench to start over him. But yeah, it's not like you're going out to high five your friends like you just lost your virginity because you have DJ Moore in your lineup this week.
Yeah. Hopefully they can. I don't know, man. That's going to be rough. Some quick wide receiver screens that Cat might be able to throw to him, or actually some fucking rushing carries maybe for DJ Moore this week just to get the damn ball in his hand. Might be an option. Let's see. We got now locks of the week. That's where we all just pick
What about
a bet.
Ramey?
Oh, sorry, Ramey. I forgot.
No.
My bad. I will
Fine.
shut up and just go ahead with
Fine.
Kirk Cousins. I was looking at the time clicking, and I'm like, we need to get done. Oh, and I'm like, sorry, bud. Go ahead, man.
My deuce of the week is Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins, to no one's surprise. I don't know if you guys have heard or not, but Kirk Cousins doesn't do well in prime time up until the last couple of years. JJ is out. That 49ers defense was not the reason why they lost in Cleveland last week. They played pretty well. They've played well all year, and I don't look for that to change coming up on Monday night. So for that reason, I think Kirk Cousins is going to struggle on Monday Night Football, and he's my deuce of the week. My other deuce of the week, this one hurts my heart, Colts wide receiver Michael Pittman Jr. And feel free if you've got any Colts position player and you want to interchange that name with Michael Pittman Jr. to do so this week against the Browns defense. Gardner Minshew is going to struggle. He probably won't look as bad as he did with 3 picks last week against the Jaguars, but Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, any of those middle of the road tight ends, but specifically Michael Pittman Jr. is going to be covered up by that Cleveland secondary and will be a deuce this week.
Yeah, it's not looking good. Why did you choose this game to go to? Oh, it was a suite, so you got invited.
I did not choose. I was offered the opportunity to go, and I took it.
Yeah, I would have done the same thing, but it's good. You might be drunk by halftime. I don't know.
If everything goes to plan.
Okay, we got now our locks of the week. We're gonna do a little sports betting. We each pick a sports bet we like. I'll get her started. Mine is Lions +3 at the Ravens. You know, I really, really, really wanted to be real ballsy and just say money line for the Lions, but I went ahead and just did +3. And we've talked about the Ravens a little bit here. They're just not going to. They're going to have that hangover. And everybody talks about their defense so far this year, but they've faced CJ Stroud in his NFL debut with 3 or 4 missing offensive linemen, a less than 100% Joe Burrow, Minshew, who actually beat them in Baltimore, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, Kenny Pickett, and Ryan Tannehill. It's not screaming anything amazing there. And Goff is extremely better than any of those 6 people I just mentioned. Lions got it. So, Matt?
That's quite the murderer's row of quarterbacks there.
Yeah.
All right. My lock of the week on a dirty old high school football is the Dolphins at Eagles. Over 51.5 from what I understand. It's up to 52 now. Doesn't matter. I don't give a shit. Still going over. There's going to be some points scored in this game. It's 2 pretty damn good offenses. Both of them can run. Both of them can pass. Philly has the edge on D, but it's not like we're talking about the 85 Bears either. Let's sit back and enjoy a really fun primetime game. Ramey?
Before Kyle can cut me off, my lock of the week is Browns at Colts under 40 total points. It's actually up to 40.5, but still hammer that under. The Browns defense already kind of beleaguered the point, is going to kind of dominate the Colts offense. And I think that they're going to look to Jerome Ford in that running game to kind of just control the clock and get out of Indianapolis with a win. But I think it's going to go under 40.5. So that's my lock of the week.
Nice.
Excellent picks all around, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I hope all of us get them right except for Kyle.
Yeah.
Kyle, I hope all yours are wrong for the next 4 weeks, because I want
you
to
guys
see the frustration on your face every day.
No, I'm not relinquishing the number 1 spot in those Aces and Deuces.
Yeah, you are, and there's nothing you can do about it.
I think it's really important to let everyone know that Kyle is the arbiter of deciding whether or not an ace or a deuce is actually an ace or a deuce.
This is why you all have access to the Google Drive with all these spreadsheets in there. If there's
I didn't know there was a drive. What are you talking about?
What's a Google
Yeah.
Drive?
Right.
This
Nope,
is
you guys are-
automated cars.
I mean, it's pretty much like 10 points. Like your Cowboys defense like finished bottom 5 last week. So, that was a lot that you
Bottom
nailed that.
5.
I think they did.
I think the Chargers only scored 17 points.
Yeah, bottom 5. Bottom 5 shittiest defense. You're good to go. Cool. What else we got? Oh, Sunday morning, 11:30, our inaugural Tinker Time show. 11:30 Eastern on our YouTube channel, this YouTube channel. Duh. I'm so used to just talking about social media and stuff, and I have to put that on there that I'm on here. But when you're sitting there Sunday morning stressing about your lineup and you want to do a little tinker, give us a shout. We'll be on here to help you with your questions, your lineup, your last minute lineup questions, or trades, or anything, any fantasy related shit. Hell, I'll take questions on World War II bombing history, whatever you want to ask.
Kyle will be here Sunday morning to be your Tinker Tickler.
Yeah. Tinker Tickler.
Just don't tinker with it too much, or you'll end up screwing yourself.
Right. And find us on the socials there. We're Stoned on Sports Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And on the X/Twitter, we are at Stoned on Sports 1. Check us out there. We post a bunch of extra stuff there as well. Gentlemen, anybody got anything else?
I am sorry I'm going to miss the inaugural Tinker Time. But I will be thinking of you guys while I'm watching Colts Browns.
Prove it.
Yeah.
I will.
I mean, are you pre-drinking before on the way to the stadium or anything like that?
Maybe.
Tailgating?
Yeah, I might do a little bit. I might partake. Depends on what the weather looks like. I think it's going to be a pretty nice weather weekend here in Indy. So
grab your phone and send us a question.
Yeah.
11:45 while you're tailgating.
It's just a bunch of F's as I've fallen asleep on my phone.
Ramey's passed out already. But nice. Another great show, gentlemen. Me and Matt will be back Sunday morning at 11:30. Anything else? Matt, want to take us out?
Sure thing. Appreciate everybody for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure. We will talk to you here in a couple of days. Those of you who are watching the replay, you have questions for us, hit us up on the socials. We'll take care of you there if you can't make it live, or if you can make it both. If you ask questions today, Alex or George play, and you got more, we got you. Until next time, we'll see you.